Lads, it's movie night. Let's cut straight to it. Now, the next movie is Warrior. Oh, dear Lord. Now, ladies, if you're thinking, oh, no, is that Tom Hardy one? UFC fighting? I get it. But this is not a fight movie per se. It's everything that goes on in the background. Ladies, I think you would love this, and especially for any Tom Hardy fans out there, okay? You know, the guy's meant to be a sex god, so what do you got to lose? And I'm telling you, I'm trying to pick some awesome movies for men and women. You know, I'm trying to keep it open for everybody here. And like, because this movie Warrior, you got Tom Hardy, Nick Nolte, though I get the mix up because Nolte brings the same raw kind of broken energy. It's this movie, it's about family, it's about redemption and about pain and forgiveness and about what it means to be human while life beats the absolute hell out of you. And forget the cage for a second, all right? Forget the punches and the arm bars, okay? And this is about father and son, brothers at war. The scars that just don't really heal. You know, if you've ever had a falling out with someone you loved, if you ever felt torn between anger and forgiveness, or like if you ever wondered what it takes to rebuild trust when it seems impossible, this movie could be the one that hits it home like a brick. And that's why everyone, men, women, everybody needs to watch this Warrior. Okay, lads, before we get to the real nuts and bolts of Warrior, the movie, here's the conflict at the heart of this movie. On paper, Warrior looks like a straightforward sports movie, all right? And two brothers, estranged for years, end up fighting in the same MMA, sort of UFC sort of thing, tournament. And one is a family man, Joel Edgerton, I think, Edgerton. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. You know I can never barely speak most of the time. And then Brendan, a teacher fighting to keep his house and provide for his kids. And the other is a soldier, Tom Hardy's character. Oh man, Tommy, haunted. This guy, you wouldn't say mental, but you feel it every now and then. And angry, he's carrying the kind of pain you just can't put into words. And then there's the father, Nick Nolte, an ex-alcoholic trying to make amends too late after ruining so much. This is Nick Nolte's ninth symphony of his best performances of all time. This is his greatest. This is unbelievable Nick Nolte raw. And the conflict is brutal, not just fists flying in a cage, but every word exchanged, every memory, every wound reopened. And it's the kind of conflict you can't just walk away from. Because when you fight your brother, you're fighting your own blood. It's not about winning or losing. It's about survival. It's about identity. It's about who you are when the lights are brightest and the whole world is watching them. Peter. Wow. To understand why Warrior hit so hard, you have to look at, I think, the setup. The movie came out in 2011, directed by Gavin O'Connor. Brilliant. And the same guy who gave us Miracle. He knows how to tell a sports story, but more importantly, he knew how to cut to the human core behind everything. Why these guys are getting in the ring. Why they're getting a brutal beat up and they keep coming back. This is what makes this movie. And let's just pause on Tom Hardy for a second here, lads. Hardy's performance here is primal. He's not acting like a fighter. I mean, the guy is a fighter. Every glare, every grunt, every shrug of his shoulders says more than a monologue ever could. And Edgerton, on the other hand, is the heart, I guess. The man holding the family together, pushed into the cage by desperation, not ambition. And then Nick Nolte, let's just go talk about him again. Nick Nolte, he got an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor for this. I honestly think the guy should have won it this year. It was a crime he didn't win it this year. And it's one of the most gut-wrenching portrayals of a broken ex-Vietnam vet trying to claw his way back into relevance, into love, into forgiveness. Like this is a movie about pain passed down through generations, about cycles of destruction, and about whether or not you can finally get over them and break them. Now, as the story builds, we're drawn deeper into this emotional battlefield. There is no question. Brendan, the teacher, the dad, is training in his garage against the odds, against younger, stronger opponents. And then he's the underdog. Tommy, meanwhile, is a machine. He doesn't talk much, but when he steps into the cage, he dismantles opponents like they are nothing. He's terrifying. Like, you realize quickly that Tommy isn't fighting for glory. Oh, dear God, no. No, he is not. He's fighting because it's the only way he knows how to channel the rage, the trauma, the grief. And then in the background, Nolte's character, the father, watching him try to reconnect with his sons, knowing he doesn't deserve their forgiveness in a way, and it's heartbreaking. You're very conflicted with the guy. And then one scene in particular, Nolte listening, I'm not giving away the movie, Nolte listening to a tape while drunk and breaking down, and Tommy is there with them. That's one of the performances that leaves scars in you as a viewer. I mean, it's not acting, man. It's the truth. And jeez, I'm kind of getting a bit emotional thinking about it. It's that powerful. It's that powerful. And as the tournament progresses, you feel the two brothers they're on a collision course, and you know kind of what's coming here to a degree. Maybe you don't. Maybe, and I'm not going to give anything away. But that doesn't make it any less devastating when it does arrive. If you do think what's going to happen. Now, for me, I really did think the climax of Warrior, it was one of the most powerful endings in sports cinema, I think, really. It's right up there with Rocky. Maybe you don't like Rocky, maybe you do, I don't know. But, two brothers, furious, broken, they end up fighting each other in a cage, and I won't give anything away. It's not about a belt, a prize money. It's a year of pain, resentment, love, betrayal, all pouring out in punches, takedowns, chokes, and I think, I'm just afraid I could give away something here, but it is very emotional. It's not about who's tougher, and you watch the ending, you don't see two fighters, you see two broken, really little boys. You see them as children, and I'm not saying that they're pathetic people, no, but you just see this vulnerable, fragile, heartbreaking side of them, and I think that's why some people get caught up in the emotion of Warrior. That's why people can't shake the movie after they've seen it. So what is the resolution here? And I'm going to try not to sound really too corny with this part, lads. I hope I'm not. But, it's not a perfect ending. Because, like we all know, well, I've always said it for a long time that even in good things that can happen to you, bad things can also happen to you. If you start doing extremely well in a career, not everybody's loving you. There's people jealous and they take strips off you. And then you can go the other way. If you're having a bad time, people can have some sympathy or, empathy for you or whatever it is. Not that you're looking for attention, but then again, they don't see you as a threat. But you're still not getting anywhere. So there's always a good and bad result when a good or bad thing happens to us. You know what I mean? And family wounds, sometimes they don't magically heal because of one moment. Sometimes maybe they do. But Warrior, it leaves you with something rare. And it kind of is hope, I have to admit. Again, I'm trying not to sound corny here. The hope that no matter how badly, you've hurt someone, no matter how far apart you've grown, love in its rawest, ugliest true form can still exist. Maybe. And, that's why I say this movie, it's not just for the UFC MMA nuts here, or for fighters. It's not, lads. It really isn't. Or people who love sports dramas. This is for women too. This is for anyone who's carried pain, who's carried pain, and who's ever like fought with someone they love, who's ever like wondered if redemption is possible. You know, like I don't know how people take their movies here, how serious, or how much you can reflect, or how much you can identify and relate to characters in movies. But I think that's why we all have a favorite movie, because we can relate to someone or something. We can see the darkness in certain characters in movies. We can see the good side of our characters in certain movies. And because the truth, like redemption, I mean, it can be possible. And what Warrior shows us in a beautiful way, like. And if you're listening to this and you've never seen Warrior, you've got to just do yourself a favor, you know? And maybe you won't watch the whole thing. Maybe Peter's wrong. You know, especially for the ladies out there, you know? Especially for the ladies. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, hey, turn it off. You're not forced to watch it, you know? So, but there's humanity in it, lads. There really is. And it's about us, all of us, our struggles, like our scars, and our fight to keep... This probably really does sound corny, but our fight to keep love alive, even when it really does feel impossible. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Warrior.